Hello everyone, welcome to another upload. So I'm early for my 9 to 5 job because apparently some schools are still online, so the Kingston traffic is not that bad. So I'm extremely early and I'm sitting here in my car, and so much has been happening over the weekend, and this is not the type of content that I normally do. Everybody know that this is predominantly sports, but of course sometimes I will talk on something if I feel touched to do so. Now, this is kind of a sad one, but so the internet almost broke on the weekend because a lot of persons will have heard, popular YouTuber CMR, Cusheen Carter. Everybody knows, watch Chrissy work. They started out doing pranks, and people just fell in love with them and their family. So everybody would have heard that he was arrested on November 2nd, which was Saturday. And the charges or the allegations was molestation of a minor. And of course, everybody was speculating and all of that. Some people were in denial to say, they think, they didn't believe that he was actually arrested. But then, of course, the evidence came and confirmed that he was, in fact, arrested. Now, yesterday, a video was released of the court hearing. I think it's a hearing for bail, and I think one of the saddest part of watching that video, or what can be concluded from that video, is, I think for me the saddest part was when the judge informed him that he's not allowed to return to the house where the listed victim is at. He was only granted to do so after being released on bond to get his belongings under police supervision. The judge said, you have no contact whatsoever with the listed victim. That means no contact whatsoever, directly or indirectly. You will not return to the scene of the offense. So, in essence, if the scene of the offense is his residence, then everybody's concluding that it is a minor within his household. Now, the family has 4 girls, and of course, the eldest daughter is his stepdaughter. So, people are now alleging that his inappropriate action was with the stepdaughter. And it is just really, really, really sad, and I'm saddened because I'm somebody who has a daughter. And while we're on this topic, and I know a lot of people may not share my viewpoint, but I've always said this. Everybody who knows me, my colleagues, my family members, I've always said it. I don't want no stepfather around my child. I can remember once a co-worker said to me that, a male co-worker, because I've always been saying it, like every time I hear something in the news or know of an incident of a child being appropriately touched or even further by a male family member, stepfather, whatever, uncle, I've always said it, that no stepfather in my child's life. And once a male co-worker said to me, you were molested as a child? I hope YouTube not going to flag the video if I use terms like molested. But they actually looked on me because I was so paranoid, so they were wondering if something happened to me as a child. And the funny thing is that I am somebody who grew up with stepfather. In fact, from I can remember myself like having sense, the man who I called father was my sister's father, but he's the person who I knew all my life, and I love that man dearly. And then he passed the summer before I started high school, so he died when I was about 12. So that's my first encounter with stepfather. In fact, he's my father. I consider him my father more than my biological father, after I actually met my biological father probably at age 14. And even now, as an adult, my other stepfather, my no stepfather, who is my mother's husband, he came into our lives, probably when I was about in the 11th grade, and I love him dearly. When I tell you about decent, iron our uniforms, everything for us, like he was our father. But even though I've had that experience with stepfathers who are so decent, I've seen and heard so many things around me that at the point when I had a child and it was a girl, and let me not emphasize that it was a girl, because things like this can happen to boys as well. But at the point when I had a child and she was a girl, it's like I made the decision that no stepfather. And the funny thing is, every time things just happen for me to confirm that not this. I've read too many articles here locally in Jamaica of those types of instances, and I was like, I was not going to subject my child to that. And I'm not saying that all men are like that, but guess what? Once you enter into a step arrangement, or you get involved with a man and you have children that's not theirs, there is the probability that inappropriate behavior can take place. And that is just the plain truth. There exists a probability, unless it's Jesus and the man where you're going to be dealing with. It no matter how good that man is, or how decent of a human being you think that man is, once you go into that arrangement where a child is involved that is not his child, I think there's a probability that exists that inappropriate behavior can take place. And it's because of my belief of that probability, no matter how tiny it may be, because it might be very minuscule to some men and it might be very high for other men, because that is their tendency. But once that probability exists, I will not put my daughter into that situation. And I just have to give God thanks. My daughter will be 18 soon, and she was able to have that relationship where her father is in her life. And at 18, she practically is an adult now. And even at age 18, if I'm dating somebody now, I still would not be comfortable with that man in my space, in my home, with my daughter. That is just how I feel about it. So it's just very unfortunate that the child had to have that experience. That must be traumatic. That is going to haunt her probably for the rest of her life, because this is the person who she calls daddy. He would have been in her life probably over 10 years now or more. So it's going to be traumatic for the child. But I want to hear your point of view though. Do you share my stance that no stepfather around here? Look here, if me and the father can't agree and it's a case that I need a man in my life, then it's going to have to be a visiting relationship where I come and check you, but you can't be in my space with my daughter. That's just how I feel about it. I know some people are going to be offended by this opinion, but that's just my opinion. In fact, it's not my opinion, this is my reality. I will not have a stepfather in the space with any daughter of mine. Drop your comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And until my next upload, take care.